In this video, we're going to look at developing a hypothesis. During this presentation, we will learn what a hypothesis is, learn how to properly write a hypothesis, and understand the difference between independent and dependent variables and their importance in the development of a hypothesis statement. A hypothesis is a prediction of an outcome, a potential answer to a question that has yet to be explored. It is an educated guess that is based on pre-existing knowledge. A hypothesis must be testable. In other words, it has to be proven or disproven by observations, conducting experiments, or statistical analyses, and must contain an independent as well as a dependent variable. In the next set of slides, we will outline the steps required to write a hypothesis. When conducting experiments, we are usually looking to determine if there is a change and what caused that particular change. Therefore, it is important we have variables. Variables are things that change. When conducting research, we usually have independent and dependent variables to help us determine what changed and what triggered that change. The independent variable is what you change in the experiment, and the dependent variable is the change that you are measuring, the result of your experiment. One can think about it as cause and effect, where the independent variable is the cause and the dependent variable is what will be affected. One important thing to keep in mind is that we only change one thing at a time. Otherwise, we won't know what causes the change or response. For example, if we were to say the following, increasing the number of alcoholic drinks you consume will increase the risk of liver damage. The independent variable would be the number of alcoholic drinks, and the dependent variable would be the level of liver damage. We can control the amount of alcohol, and the damage to the liver will depend on that. In order to develop a hypothesis, one needs to first ask a question. The question being asked has to be specific. Open-ended questions, or questions that are too general, can lead researchers down rabbit holes and are too complex to conduct a focused experiment on. The question being asked must also be testable. Questions whose answers are merely opinions are not conducive to good, testable, or repeatable research. An example of a focused question would be, do fasted walks help lose fat? An example of a bad question would be, which tastes better, lasagna or tacos? A good research, and hence a good hypothesis, is based on something we don't already know. In other words, the question we are asking should not have been already answered by someone else. Therefore, it is important to conduct preliminary research after asking our question and before writing our hypothesis. The preliminary research will enable us to become familiar with the topic and prevent us from repeating what has already been done. Once you have conducted preliminary research, write down a sentence with what you think the answer to your original question might be. This sentence needs to be clear and concise. An easy way to accomplish this is to write the sentence in an if-then format or as a cause and effect sentence. For example, if a person does a fasted walk for 30 minutes every morning, he or she will lose fat. Ask yourself, is this hypothesis specific? Is it testable? Does it have a dependent and independent variable? If the answer is yes, you've written a good hypothesis. If the answer is no, then go back and refine your hypothesis. It is important to know that hypotheses do not need to be proven true all the time. If your hypothesis is disproven, you can always go back and come up with a new, testable hypothesis. To summarize, a hypothesis is an educated guess for an outcome based on prior knowledge on the topic being investigated. Good hypotheses must be clear, focused, and testable. Thank you for watching our video on developing a hypothesis. For more great videos, please go to our YouTube channel, Ask ASC.